What is up? What is up? What is up, PML family? It is your boy, Is Nefarious, and I am here with my partner in crime for the PML Top 50 to bring you more of the content you love, the content you enjoy. PML Top 50 players of season, what was that, 2022? Last season?
Yeah, go with
So
it.
season 2022 top 50 players. We did 50 through 30 already. Now we're doing 50 through 31. Now we're doing 30 to 10, 11. Natural, go ahead and introduce yourself to the folks.
I thought you were gonna introduce me, but yeah, it's me. Let's get right into it.
you ain't that Hollywood. I ain't gonna introduce you. Let's jump right into it. So we're at number 30, and the first name off the board at number 30 is Rashad Bateman, the wide receiver from the Miami Dolphins. And this is somebody that you have extensive history with, playing him twice a season.
Wait, what? Wait, you
Well, you
just
play him
dropped
twice a
like
season.
two,
That's extensive compared to
two
like
games.
everybody else.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So Rashad Bateman at number 30. Anything you want to mention about him? Maybe how
Yeah, I'm
tough.
shocked he's this high. I don't see it. What does the stats say? Because I don't. I feel like Gazeki is the guy. Bateman is just, I don't know, afterthought for me. I don't really. It's not somebody that I really game plan for, or if
So,
they, I don't know.
basically, he had the same stats as Gesicki, if I'm not mistaken. Gesicki had roughly 1,000 yards receiving, right? We would have to go
Yeah.
back and look, but he had 84 catches, 1,042 yards, and 15 touchdowns. So
Okay.
he was. People said he was force fed at a point throughout the season, and given his
Yeah,
weapon,
I think he pretty much was the downfall of the Dolphin season. I
yeah.
feel like he was. I think that he overdrafted him, and then he tried to compensate to say like, oh, it was worth it by
Mm-hmm.
like him having a great season, which uh, kind of force fed him, and then that was the focal point was the passing game, which kind of took away from their ball control and playing smart football, and that ball control helped their defense.
Mm-hmm.
But being that they were moving the ball more passing, that put more pressure on the defense, which kind of
Exactly.
exposed them. So it was like a cascading effect. I think it all kind of started with the Rashad Bateman draft. So it's kind of played out pretty much exactly how I said. And I always like being right.
You're always right. So, the funny thing about Rashad Bateman, it was kind of a double-edged sword. Not only was he force feeding Rashad Bateman, but I think he also was trying to force stats for Tua at the time too, as well, to get him up to
Yeah.
a superstar X factor or whatever he was looking for. So it was
I mean,
like,
that's kind of what we were talking about prior. Like you're playing good quality coaches like you have in PML.
hmm
It's kind of like, do you play to win or you kind of play for stats? So like
exactly.
a lot of times I'm sitting like looking like, man, I need to get the dev for this guy, but it's like tough because like, do I want to get the dev or this player, in the season awards, or am I trying to win this game? So a top guy or your guy who you want to get the ball might only have one catch.
hmm
Because that's when he was open.
Yeah.
So I think force feeding guys, stuff like that. Like, yeah, you got the stats. You got he's 87 overall, but I mean, you don't make the playoffs. So it's like, what do you want to do? And trying to do both is tough. Like somebody like KFFO, he's I can do both, or Hype Mike with his division can do both. But
Yeah.
depends
Exactly.
on your schedule, how talented you are. It's really
hmm
tough to get those guys those stats and also win the game.
Yeah, exactly. Like, uh, in your case as well, it's a little easier for you to do it, like compared to me. If I try to do it, I'm not good enough at the game to do both. It's either
Well, no,
one or the other.
it's even tough for me, like that, depending on schedule. My
Yeah.
schedule is brutal, or even just in my division, just even when my schedule is not against a tough conference, just within division, the coaches are quality coaches, so it's tough just doing. I'm
hmm
not going to come out, and just try to run up some stats on KMFO or even Mike or Jets. They all have quality defenses, so I can't come out and be like, oh yeah, I'm about to pass for 500, like because they're all good coaches. So
Yeah.
it really is not even with me. So even with it's still a struggle because we have quality coaches here in the league.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of competition throughout PML. Moving on to the next guy, we got Leighton Vander Esch from the Cowboys at number 29. Uh, what can you say about Leighton Van Der Esch? He's athletic. He's got the size. He's everything you want in a middle linebacker. I mean, compared to some of these linebackers in PML now with 90 speed, 90 plus speed, he's a little slow, but still 6'4", 86 speed, 92 acceleration.
And that's crazy that he actually seems slow. But no, he's great in coverage. I mean, it's not too many linebackers, almost 80 man coverage, 80 zone coverage. That's
Hmm.
elite territory there. So he can cover. He's got run stuffer, outmatched. So he wins those matches versus running backs. You know, people love throwing to the running back this year. He's the type of guy that can shut down the run and stop those check downs.
Yeah, he's a complete stud. Last season he had, looking at it now, he had 110 tackles, 9 for a loss, and then he had 10 interceptions. So he had a great season, and it was actually a 2021 season. So I was wrong on the 2022. Moving on, we got Saquon Barkley at number 28, the running back from the Giants. I know Q was shopping him during the offseason, probably because the re-sign ability when it comes to Saquon Barkley that you ran into when you were the Giants user. But he's an absolute stud. I'm actually surprised on how low he is on the list. I would expect him to be higher.
Because he's not really talked about. He doesn't have like the chat hype. I mean, to be honest, looking at the stats, I'm shocked because I in my brain I think the Giants is a passing team. I
Hmm.
didn't know Saquon had almost 1,500 yards
Hmm.
rushing, almost 20 touchdowns. I
Yeah.
did not. Just from what's talked about in chat is people talk about his improved passing game and DJ 5K.
Hmm.
So no one really talks about Saquon that much. I know he's being shopped. So it's like it's just that's why I didn't have him on my list because he's just not he's not mentioned with the other top running backs that talked a lot about in the league.
Yeah, I agree. He's just he kind of fell to the back burner a little bit. Not just generally in the Giants offense because he still put up numbers, just generally in PML. Everybody was talking about the newcomers and stuff like that, and Saquon Barkley was just an afterthought. Moving
Yeah,
on
I
to
mean, with
yeah, go ahead.
500 receiving yards, he had over 2,000 yards in the season total.
Yeah, I mean he still did his work. Moving on, we got Calais Campbell, defensive lineman from the Ravens, at number 27.
Too low,
Too low.
too low, way too low. This dude is a game record, man. I think I had him in my top 10, maybe top five. He is ridiculous. He was really my first introduction to inside stuff. When I was like, when I went out and I was like in the chat, I want to get inside stuff guy. Like literally, that was from Calais Campbell because I see how he just destroyed. You can't even run inside, like period. Like he would just blow it up. At one time I was really pissed off when I played against the Ravens. I ran away and he inside stuff blew up the background, hit me in the backfield on the other side of the field. And I'm like, yo, like I'm running away from him. How does this dude like? And it's funny because you see so big. It's
Yeah.
like when you see this huge 6'8", 300-pound human fly across through the backfield, hit your 94 speed running back in the backfield. You're like, yo,
Yeah.
this is not even. It's not even fair. It's
No,
almost like
not
a
at all.
glitch. Like this dude is that good.
And just so you kind of get an idea, he had 29 solo tackles, 48 total tackles, 21 for a loss. So out of all those,
21 tackles for a loss. I
I,
think I think eight, like five of those are against me.
yeah, 21. So pretty much half of his total tackles was for a loss. That just tells you how much of a game wrecker he could be. So I agree, he should be a lot higher. I didn't have the pleasure or displeasure of going up against the Ravens in that and that monster. So I can't really speak on it, but just based on stats, he should definitely be higher up. I guess
Yeah,
his
he,
stats.
he is the number one reason why we went out and drafted Drake Jackson. I said I need inside tough guy the same way because he just destroys the inside run game. So it's like you basically are forced to run stretches and tosses right outside because Calais Campbell would just blow up your run game. Period. I mean, even if he doesn't make the tackle, it's disruptive enough to see him
Exactly.
fly in the backfield. And you're like, whoa, 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 whoa,
Yeah.
or it like dissuades you from running certain plays where you would see normally, someone comes out and second is short or second and third and short, and you're like, oh, I can just run an inside zone and get this first down.
Yeah.
Clay Campbell was like, not
No,
so
no,
fast,
no,
my
no,
friend.
no, no. That's not happening. Even goal line, you're in the goal line situation, you want to punch it in, you're gonna have to throw that. And he could drop everybody into coverage as long as he's got Calais Campbell in there. He could still make a one man stop. You don't need to send a blitz. You don't need to send extra guys. You just got
Yeah,
Calais
I
Campbell.
was not happy he didn't retire, so I don't look forward to seeing him again. I see he's injured right now, so hopefully he stays that way.
Moving on, we got at number 26. We're staying in the same division. We got C.J. Verdell, the running back from the Steelers, falling at 26. He was injured during the season, so his stats are a little not as high as they probably would be. I think he was out for 4+ games, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, CJ Riddell, good running back, good speed back, one of the most explosive backs in the league. He just gets it done. Drama man, he gets the ball in different ways. He passes it to him off play action. He runs with them, and you'd be surprised for a speed back. He's probably one of the few smaller guys who does a lot of his work on the inside.
Yeah, and he had 1,600 yards and 21 touchdowns, and that's with the injury. So he'd probably be a lot higher if he didn't get injured. I think the injury kind of knocked him down on the list a little bit.
Yeah, as Verdell is definitely a problem. What's wild is that he's still on the star. When he gets
Hmm.
superstar, he's really going to be kind of blow up. But and he's been doing that. He's been carrying his team this season with the drama brought in the army of tight ends to block for him the hooks. So he's had some success with that. But it's still so. I mean, it really comes back to the point when drama drafted Verdell when they really needed a quarterback. Is he vindicated by
Yeah,
Verdell's success, or is he still limited by his quarterback position?
yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, I guess the way he's building his offense, like you said, all the tight ends, he's pound the rock. That's all he's thinking about. He doesn't even care about the quarterback. That's kind of the same situation I am in San Francisco. I drafted a rookie quarterback. I got the throw power. I'm just focusing on the run. Uh, running a 12 personnel, stuff like that. And that seems like what he's trying to do in Pittsburgh. Moving on, we're going to bring up a quarterback, Dwayne Haskins Jr. at number 25 from the Redskins, the reigning NFC champion quarterback. What's your thoughts on Haskins?
When he's on, he's on. He's great. But the problem is when he's had those Haskins moments, which we've seen recently, this year, it's just like you never know when he's gonna just throw that. He'll look amazing, and he'll just throw that errant pass and
Hmm.
just miss a receiver wide open. And I don't know if that's. It's hard to say it's his stats because he has good ratings, but it's just know if it's like a Haskin code in the game because I remember Z Star
Yeah.
had the same issue last cycle with him. So I don't know. But hopefully he gets that under wraps and a little more consistent with his downfield passing. But when he's on, he's as good as any quarterback in the league.
Yeah, he almost had 5,000 yards on the season. He finished about 100 yards off, 106 yards, and he had 41 touchdowns and 34 interceptions. And he's one of the few quarterbacks in PML that has a positive touchdown to interception ratio. So it's nice to see him on a list. I honestly am surprised that he's at 25. I would think he would be a little higher just based on how offensive this Madden has been so far. We're gonna move on to number 24. We got Quiddy Payne from the Bills, who actually I think led the league in sacks this past season.
Yeah, he's definitely a great pass rusher. Had impact in our game. Had a couple of sacks, some pressure. Yeah, he's somebody you definitely have to double team or at least slide your line towards. He's really a good player, solid player, young player as well. So he's only going to get better.
Yeah, and he's got goal line stuff. So when you're inside the five, that's something people got to worry about. You can't easily run it in for a touchdown. So it's nice to have somebody with those abilities and also having the ability to get to the passer. Moving on, we got Dawson Knox from the Bills. So we're going back to back with the Bills. The tight end from the Bills, Dawson Knox, and he came out late in the season when KMFO took over, and he was a stud for him in that offense.
Yeah, somebody you have to definitely put a lot of attention to. It just it's really Diggs and Knox.
Hmm.
That shit almost sounds like a old cop show or something like
Yeah.
that. That pretty much those are the guys you really have to focus on because they are both really athletic. Both can get open. It's tough to cover him. Well, impossible, pretty much impossible covering with a linebacker. You got to put a
Mhm.
safety on him, and you're not even guaranteed to cover him with the safety. So, 88 speed, and he's still young guy at 25 years old. And he has good hands, good route run. I mean, he's pretty much the complete package when it comes to a receiving tight end.
Yeah, and it's very impressive that he finished with 1,500 yards and 8 touchdowns. When KMFO came in, what, week 8, he went 10-0 or something to finish the season, so he might have been week 6. And I don't think he was much of a factor when Geek was running the team, and he became, one of the leading receivers as a tight end. So that's very impressive. But we're gonna stick with the Bills. We got another Bill on the list at number 22. We got Ed Oliver, the defensive lineman for the Bills. Plays that interior tackle position. He is a another stud on that defensive line, young
Yeah,
stud.
he's pretty much single handedly won the playoff game there. I mean, every big defensive play, it was Ed Oliver. Every big interception, he was either for pressure or hitting my quarterback. I mean, there was so many missed touchdowns, big plays that Ed Oliver stopped.
Hmm.
Even on the fourth down one, I had a guy wide open, and Ed Oliver hit my quarterback, and I felt bad. I was like, dude, like why did I not double team? When I went back looked at the play, I actually did double team him on the
And he
play.
still
So
made it
and
through.
he just beat the double team.
Wow, that's the type of stuff that makes superstars.
I
Speaking
mean
of,
that's basically what makes his whole defense go. The fact that he can just rush three
yeah,
every time and get pressure that he does. I mean that's literally why his defense works the way it does. I
yeah,
mean,
exactly, and he's another one with inside stuff, run stuffer, and running on him definitely not easy. Moving on, number 21, we got Will Fuller from the Texans. This is somebody I played up against last season, and you can't leave him one on one in man coverage when it comes to Will Fuller. He burns pretty much everybody. So I remember one play I had cover one. It was late in the game. He ran a streak and pretty much it was a toss up. It was like taking candy from a baby. I was like, holy crap. Will Fuller's just, with that speed, he's just so dangerous.
yeah, I remember I got my own Will Fuller story from season one where I was like, oh, because everyone was kind of, you still learn the defense and all that, and a lot of people were doing the press and then play over top, type thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I got good corners, and Jonathan Jones, and he has like 90, I think at 93, 94 speed at the time, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll just press and play over top. And it was like 80 yards later. I was like,
Yeah.
well, I won't do that again.
Yeah, that's not happening again. I think that's
Yeah,
exactly what happened with me too. I played
that
over
was a
top.
fast corner. So there's like regular fast in this game, and then there's like those super fast guys where it's like, oh yeah, you got to treat them differently.
Yeah, and Will Fuller is one of them, and one of his abilities is route technician, and I don't know if you're familiar with that, but receivers with that ability, their last cut of any route creates separation. So that's a really nice low key ability to have for a wide receiver.
Yeah, he's a monster. I think he even plays faster than that 95 speed.
Yeah, I think so too, and it's not like he has crazy acceleration. He has 94 acceleration. It's just he just plays faster for some reason. Moving on, we're gonna jump right into the top. Well, between 10 and 20. Number 20, we got the Dolphins running back, Matt Breida, the walking glass house, Matt Breida,
Yeah,
who,
I'm I'm surprised he's high, like higher than Saquon. Higher, I think he's too high in the list.
yeah, I mean, he would, for me personally, he would be near like top 15, maybe top 10 if he could stay healthy, but he can't stay healthy at all. It's just he can't do it. He's just you take a look at his ratings when it comes to injury and stuff. 77 stamina, 77 toughness, and 87 injury, and he just like I said, he's just a walking glass house.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think that in the passing game, he's probably the best outside of Kamara, the best receiving back
Hmm.
in the league. I think that he's a matchup nightmare because he's really what keeps um, teams from manning up the Dolphins and and running a lot of press man because
Yeah.
Breida can pretty much beat any linebacker or safety. I mean, there's
Yeah,
not
there's
many
nobody keeping up with him.
97 speed safeties in the league either. So even when you match up a safety versus him, it's a mismatch. So
Hmm.
he's really tough to cover.
Yeah, exactly. It just sucks that he's just so prone to injury. When it comes to the Dolphins, it's great for you and it's great for the rest of the AFC East. But when it comes to being a Dolphins user, Matt Breida, his injury prowess is what really holds him down. Moving on, we got another burner. When it comes to the wide receiver position, we got Rico Gafford, who was actually a sleeper on your fantasy last season. He had a great season for the Chargers last season.
Yeah, probably the lowest guy on this list as far as rating, right?
I believe so. I don't even think he's past 75. Yeah, he's actually
Pretty
at
much.
a 75 currently.
Yeah, yeah, the speed demon. He's in that category of guys who just a different gear. And the one thing about him, I don't know whatever uh Toxic Mike knows about how to get off the press, but I've never seen a receiver with 60 or less release get off the press instantly. So I don't know if it's a certain hot route he does or a motion or whatever it was.
Hmm.
He's the only receiver I've seen literally just fly past people in man press
Yeah.
and just run by like the DB's not even there. So I don't know if it's specific routes he knows or plays that calls that's able to do that. But definitely something that he knows that we don't because that's the only receiver that I've seen in the league just disregard press like on a consistent basis and beat cover two man or cover two zone.
Yeah, and when it comes to his speed, I mean that's the only shot you got really is pressing him because his release is so low, like you said. But yeah, he must know something, some kind of secret that nobody else knows to get him off the line that easy. Moving on, we got Tariq Cohen of the Bears at number 18. Um, I don't know. He's another guy like I guess
No,
because
he had a monster season. No, I remember he was killing people. Now this year, but last year he was balling, bro. I
well,
remember he was having big games. He had 18 yards rushing
yeah, I mean, I guess what I guess
with
where
24 touchdowns. What are you
well,
hesitating
I
about?
guess
Should be
because I
fine.
came in, you got to remember, I took the hiatus and I came in season three, I mean season two of PML, and I'm still used to the old Bears with Mo and Tariq Cohen, if that makes sense. And
Well, I mean, that's a whole other game, though.
yeah,
That's like,
he was
but,
leading the league in rushing every season. So I guess having a different user and he's not leading the league in rushing, that kind of
Tariq Cohen was great last year. He was one of the most dominant running backs
yeah.
in the league. 18 over yards, 24 touchdowns, 400 yards receiving with two touchdowns. I mean, he was a problem. This year, it's been a different story, and that team is aging. He doesn't do content to kind of keep those aging guys up, and the offensive line is not has been have not been improved. So basically, in PML, when you stay the same, not getting better or worse, you're actually getting worse because everyone else's team who's
Exactly.
talented guys like you are getting better.
Yep,
So
exactly.
that I think Tariq Cohen, I think that season will probably be the best, the last dominant season he'll have.
Yeah, I agree. You got to do content in this league to stay with the group. If you don't do content, you're just gonna fall back. If you do that minimum of four pieces of content, you're just gonna fall back. I don't think I've ever seen a tribute request in PML for the Bears, so that makes a lot of sense. Moving on to number 17. This is actually a ex-Patriot, now a Detroit Lion. We got Cam Newton at number 17, who had a really good season. Not a lot of yards, but he had a great QBR, one of the better QBRs in the league, making sure that he secures that ball and doesn't, throw a lot of picks. And that's something you could talk on because he was your quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, 4,600 yards. I mean, it's not like a terrible
Yeah,
season.
yeah,
But yeah, it's funny looking at it. 27 interceptions. It was horrible for NFL, but for our league, it's like if you're under 35, you're great.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
there's so many
It's like
quarterbacks
being
that.
under 10 in the NFL.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there was some struggles, some great moments for Cam, some great comebacks, but also some really puzzling times where he would just basically just miss guys wide open. I think, but getting him the superstar, and he really should have gotten the Super X Factor. If he did, he still would be in New England, but kind of got screwed on that one by not getting him the X Factor. But it's fine. We moved on. We got Franks now. We're happy. But Cam was a great quarterback, and we wish him the best in Detroit.
Yeah, he performed well when you had him, and I think
Trying to
he's
figure out how to point. Do I get those points to use on somebody else, or
no,
I
no.
mean,
It goes to Cam Newton.
really?
Yeah, I guess it's gonna be Cookie Boy who's gonna give those points to Cam Newton. You can't give it to anybody else. It's only your name's got to be on the list. If your name ain't on the list, you ain't getting in the club. Moving on, we got another Patriots player. We actually got Philip Lindsay, falling at number 16. And last season, you seemed a little more pass heavy than run heavy, if that makes sense to you. But
I
that's
think I was just balanced.
what was that?
I think I've always been pretty much balanced. I know people see me more as a runner, but I think I've always been balanced. Just I guess I don't know. It depends. For me, it's all about the matchup, right?
Hmm.
It's a different game plan every game, right? So if
Yeah.
someone has great pass defense, I'm gonna be more run heavy. If someone has great run defense, I'm gonna be more pass heavy. So it's
Hmm.
like it's not like like I'm trying to be whatever. It depends on who I'm playing.
Yeah, he still had a you still had a really good season with him, almost 1,600 yards and 13 touchdowns. Not a surprise to see him this high up in the list because he's in your hands you're one of the better runners in the league, and in your hands he's definitely a massive weapon.
Yeah,
Moving, okay.
I feel like he doesn't have the stats as some of the other guys that have some really gaudy stats. But I think to my point, I believe it's a lot of people got to look at competition level and and schedule and like who are if you're getting 200 yards a game versus the NFC West,
Yeah, they suck.
versus the versus the NFC North. I think that makes a difference. Like the quality of opponents that you're kind of facing, getting those 20-yard rushing
Yeah, you
victories.
must just based on how these stats are. You must have played a lot of the AFC North last season because they're so good. Moving on to number 15, we got Austin Eckler, the another running back. This one from the Chargers, another guy kind of like Philip Lindsay, kind of the same build and just a elusive, speedy running back. He uses them a lot out of the backfield. He's another one that he's kind of like that Alvin Kamara, and also who'd you Matt Breida you were talking about. He's
Yeah.
used excessively in the passing game as well.
Yeah, is he healthy yet?
He's not on IR. He's definitely healthy this season.
Is he back from IR yet?
Oh, that was a beautiful, beautiful moment, and that was a first in PML history. I gotta say.
Remember the time that Hype Mike, 2 years from now, when Mike put his Eckler on IR and didn't finish the season and lost his
Oh,
playoff game?
jeez.
Like,
Oh
that's
my.
that'll definitely be a remembered PML moment for sure.
Yeah, it's just a lack of awareness. I guess you could say. He hasn't been really good with team management so far. Between his trades, leaving him with no wide receivers and stuff like that, and giving himself all that cap penalty, he really hasn't been the GM. He's been a great coach, just a terrible GM. When it comes to
I
Austin,
mean, but that's the thing. But no one even really talked about when he traded for Chandler Jones and they cut. Like no one. Like I was like, I feel like you were the only person. You and Bacon, the only people that even mentioned it. That was a thing,
yeah,
which to me was so much bullshit when it came with the Cam Newton thing and when he got traded and Matt Stafford got released. Like literally this just happened last like
you
last
just didn't
offseason
want the
and no
contract.
one cared.
Yeah, you tried. I gotta say, you did try to shop Matt Stafford. Nobody answered. Nobody wanted Matt Stafford, and you figured out. You figured out you couldn't trade him because you just traded for him. I get it. If the contract's bad, like D Ford's contract was bad, you cut him. You don't want him. He's not going to be any use to you. Why not cut him and free up that cap space? Austin Eckler, he was injured for a little bit. It doesn't look like his stats were crazy. I thought he did a lot more damage in the receiving end, but it seems like he didn't.
Yeah, for real. I look at the stats. I'm shocked. Maybe I'm
I wonder
shocked
how
he's
long he was injured for. He was put on IR, so maybe it was a long time.
Oh, you know what? I think this is kind of a carryover from how dominant he was the year before that. And so people, they know he's still a force. So I think there's a
Mhm.
little bit. I think for this season he's high, but I think it's some of that carryover respect from the previous season because he had over
Mhm.
2,000 yards
Yeah.
rushing, 20 yards rushing.
Yeah, it's one of it's just the name value put him higher on the list. Um,
And it's another thing when it comes to level of competition with his division. I mean, he can have 2,000 yards rushing every season.
exactly. Moving on, we got somebody from your division. We just talked about him when we mentioned Rashad Bateman. We got Tua at number 14 against at number 14. Another guy we mentioned before, kind of force feeding a little bit or trying to pad stats a little bit just to get a dev story and get him to superstar or superstar X factor. You got him to superstar, which I don't know if he was a star to begin with, but he
He was a
did.
star. Yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
yeah.
so
So
he.
with Tua, mission accomplished. That was the goal. It seemed like from the outside in, outside looking at the Dolphins, the goal was to get Tua the superstar.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like a vacation season to focus on that. Dolphins missed the playoffs, but did get Tua the star. Got some other guys' ratings up. So it really was a Kurt like vacation season to get those. I mean, that was mission accomplished. That's basically what he did.
Yeah, I
Focus
just.
on the passing game and got them. The abilities that he needed to get.
Yeah, I. The only thing is, the only difference is, I don't think he's realized that last season's over because it seems like he's still doing it. Um,
No comment. That's not for me. When people say I be talking trash, I'm not saying nothing.
Moving, I'll take the heat for that one. Moving on, we got another guy that was seemed to be force fed as well at number 13. We got Amron St. Brown from the Detroit Lions, who had a solid season, but he like Rashad Bateman and like Tua was subject to the talk of force feeding a rookie coming in.
Yeah, I mean, early on, I think he got him the super. I think that might have been the quickest superstar receiver in the history of PML. I
Yeah.
feel like by like week 3, he was already a superstar. I don't know, he might got some codes or some dev some of the dev secrets. He knows how to get his guys up.
Yeah.
I've been trying. I can't even get a receiver a dev game. So he definitely knows something that we don't. But yeah, he got him. He forced him pretty quickly, but he got injured in preseason this year. Hasn't had much success. So hopefully the Lions and Elmore get back on track.
Yeah, he's a solid piece. 1,600 yards and 10 touchdowns, so he had a really good season. Not surprised to see him on this list and how high he was. Moving on, we got your old quarterback, now the head of probably one of the best passing games in PML. We got Daniel Jones with the New York Giants, and Q is doing some work with Daniel Jones, kind of picking up where you left off last cycle.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know if I go that far. I mean, so just looking, he was just short of DJ 5K. So he was 4,924 yards. So not the authentic DJ 5K, but he's up there. He has been, he's had a good season. PML standards, a great season, 47 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. I would like to see him kind of use his legs a little bit more.
Hmm.
Because he's faster than what I had him. So he's definitely faster, more athletic. 84 speed, 87 acceleration. That's in possible option range there. So I'd like to see him using a little bit more his legs, but he's a good quarterback. He has superstar abilities, and I would be surprised if he wasn't an X factor by next season.
Yeah, that passing game has been really really good in New York, and Daniel Jones, like you said, he's got a little bit of speed, so I don't think he's really thinking about that when he plays. If that makes maybe he doesn't fit his mold of how he wants to play.
Well, I
Uh,
mean that as you know that puts stress on the defense, right? You
yeah.
play Russell Wilson, those guys in your
Hmm.
division, Kyler Murray. Now he doesn't have the escape artist, but he has enough speed that he can do play action rollouts or mix an option play here and there. I mean, He's definitely a mobile
when
quarterback.
when I play like Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson, like you mentioned, you can't let your defensive ends just go out there and eat. They gotta contain, and you gotta hope they run into a sack if anything. So that makes a lot of sense with his speed and acceleration. That you could use that against your opponents. Moving on, we got the Buffalo Bills Stephon Diggs at number 11. Another guy like Dawson Knox after we brought in Cam Fo. He became a stud and a stud quickly. 99 overall.
I don't know. He was nah. I don't go on that one. He was a stud when when what you gonna have him because I had problems with him even when Geeks had him. So he's just a problem. Period. But yeah, definitely with Josh Allen with 99 throwing power and getting into digs, he can throw those outs. He can throw those fit those slants into small
Mm-hmm.
spaces. Diggs is definitely he was high on my list and one of the best receivers in the league.
Yeah, honestly, you could say he is the best receiver based on what he did at towards the end of the season. But we'll see what he does with a full season with Stephon Diggs. But he's also got Tyler Lockett and Jamar Chase. He's got a ton of weapons over there in Buffalo. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it for this episode. Um, we got through 30 to 11. We're gonna drop the top 10 episode probably tomorrow. But that's gonna do it for us today. Thank you for watching. Hope you're enjoying the content. Is Nefarious. He's natural, and we are out of here.